Welcome to episode 3 of a 4-part docu-series all about Arizona. Today we're going to talk about the best cities to live, the cost of living, and the job market in the Phoenix area. Stay tuned! It's over 100 degrees today, so I am not going to be out too long. So let's just cut to the chase. What are the best cities to live? Well, when I originally moved to Arizona, I lived in Ahwatukee, which is near the Tempe area, kind of central Phoenix, if you will. Then I moved to Avondale, which is on the West Valley. Now, I get the question all the time, which is better, the West Valley or the East Valley? And in my opinion, I think the East Valley is much more developed than the West Valley. That's my opinion. Into Gilbert or Chandler. They have the better schools out here. The Phoenix Valley is known for its crappy schools. However, there's a lot of charter schools out there which aren't as bad. Now, some people are partial to the Scottsdale area. Everyone has their own preference. Again, I am not a big fan of the West Side. And yes, that's where the stadium is. That's where the Cardinals play. There's cities like Glendale and Peoria and Goodyear. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying overall, it's not as developed. Now let's talk about the job market. In Chandler, Intel has a huge presence there. And in general, the Valley is really good if you want a call center type of job, because the Phoenix Valley doesn't get very many natural disasters like snowstorms. That's why a lot of companies have their call centers based out of here. When I first moved to the Phoenix Valley, I interviewed at 9 different companies. Out of those 9, I got 3 offers. Now for me, that's crappy stats. I was used to 50% offers back in the day, but it can be done. There are jobs here. Now, in terms of where the majority of jobs are, I've seen the most of the jobs in Phoenix, Tempe, and Scottsdale. Now, the cost of living. The cost of living is gonna vary from person to person. Some people have much higher standards than others. I did the math, and I would say on the low end, if you were to move to Phoenix, you're looking at about $1,700 a month. Now, that does not include the cost of eating or clothing. So one thing a lot of people have asked is about racism. Now, I've only experienced racism here once. For reference, for those of you that are not regular watchers of the show, I'm actually Puerto Rican. I know I sound Italian. I grew up in Brooklyn, Bensonhurst, in an Italian neighborhood. This is my daughter, Rory, by the way. So the one time I experienced racism was I went to go get my car repaired, and the owner obviously did not like Mexicans. And he kept saying that all Latinos basically are Mexicans because he's ignorant. And I just felt very uncomfortable, you know, and I had never really experienced that growing up in New York, because New York really is a melting pot. I mean, I grew up with all ethnicities. I got no problem with nobody, Muslims, any of them. I grew up with kids wearing turbans, the whole deal. It didn't bother me. There's a lot of people here that are Trumpsters, and I'm not saying all Trumpsters are racist, but you know, come on. Anyway, I used to be a Republican, by the way, not to make this a political thing. But there are a lot of folks in Arizona in particular that hate Mexicans, and they're all about building the wall. So that concludes the 3rd of a 4-part docu-series, guys. I'm trying to make the entire thing 60 minutes. Please like, subscribe, and let me know below what questions do you have about living in Arizona. Till next time!